was talking fantasy football with my friends the other day.
Well, Josh? Wow. Look who's back. Where the hell have you been? At home, sitting in your asses?
Go away now, Josh. Actually, my name is Alan.
A dorky white kid with a Cub Scout bandana on his head.
Bravo.
Echo.
November.
Tango. On.
Football.
You did it again, Josh. You gotta stop doing it. Welcome back to Betting on Fantasy Football. Alan and Josh here again with you. This week we have a pretty interesting episode.
We do.
Yeah, that's Josh is going to explain that here in just a minute. But there's a lot of stuff to cover this week. Tons of things going on in the NFL this week.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into it.
Okay.
Let's get into our beers first and foremost.
I don't remember who went first last week. Was it me or you? You
You
know what? Yours. I'm gonna do mine first because yours. You're gonna explain a little bit.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll work.
All right. So mine is. I think everybody recognized that logo, the Twitter logo. So that is in relation to Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter and how I feel about him. So for many reasons, you can all understand. So
you feel like a bird because of it?
I feel like giving him the
bird.
bird.
Nice,
He's
nice.
giving all of us the bird, man.
Nice. Yeah, he is. You know, I got to make a comment though. That is a very, very nice design for Whirly Labels. Fantastic.
Yeah,
job.
especially for free. They got a special going on this week, so
That's perfect. We get our normal.
the price
discount
would have been
plus.
double if it would have had to be colorized, if in the blue ink and everything. So we didn't
Gotcha.
splurge for that, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We're low budget. Sorry.
Yeah, we're no budget. Sorry.
right.
Actually, we're a negative budget because we have to pay for our beers.
This is going bad. All right. So my beer this week. My beer says, "Here's to a hell of a guy." The reason I did that is because
He's talking about me. It's not me.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Ray Guy,
Ray Guy.
one of the best punters of all time.
If not the best, I mean, I would put him up there as probably the best in my opinion.
Yeah, he was a stud as far as punters go. We don't talk about punters on the show because there's no fantasy value to them. But as punters go, he was a stud for a punter.
Did you see that Western Region scout for Philadelphia?
No, I didn't.
Okay, that's why we don't talk about positions that don't matter in fantasy
Right,
football.
right.
But we got to give it to Ray Guy because he's a legend.
Yeah, absolutely. He passed away at the age of 73. So just a quick moment of silence. How long do we have to do this?
The longer you stay silent, the better, man. For me, at least.
All right, so no, but in all seriousness, here's you, Ray Guy. We're gonna pop open these beers, and we want you to join us and sit back and enjoy the show.
We hit a milestone this week. I think we did we get any? What's our subscriber base right now? Anything happen? Any news on the subscriber front?
There actually has been some interesting news. So, according to a source that I have, that was great. That was awesome.
Okay, guys, don't worry. It's not. I'm usually not a very reliable source, by the way. So,
No, but we now have 33 subscribers, so
Absolutely.
we're climbing that ladder. We only have a few hundred rungs to go. Where are we at, Josh? Do the math.
well, we need 967 to go.
967.
So if we can somehow find that Fountain of Youth that Ponce de Leon was looking for,
Yeah.
we'll get it in our lifetime. So
Yeah. I mean, at this rate, though, if you look at over the last week, we've grown exponentially, and it's a small exponential.
yeah, it's
But-
by a small exponent, like 0.08
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that.
But anyway, nonetheless, still growth, right?
Growth.
All right. So
Your growth.
why don't you guys? Oh, your growth.
I know.
So why don't you guys help us out? We want you to like, subscribe, share, get the word out there about our video. Have people, even if they don't like football or fantasy football, whatever, have them check us out. We have fun on the show. So
Absolutely.
have them check us out. But definitely like, subscribe, and share if you haven't already.
And we're a couple asses too. So.
Amen.
But we do have a very special show, like Alan mentioned. We have the game going on in the background. So
You know why?
why?
Because this is our mid-season special.
Did you get
special,
a pedicure
special,
or a
special,
manicure? Your
special.
hand feels so soft. Or did you?
Anyway, moving on, because I can afford that.
Yes.
So go ahead, Josh. We do have a special show this week, and we do have the game going on.
We
like
do have
you
the
said.
game going on right now, and in fact, Philly's got it 2nd and goal from about the 6, with about 5 minutes left in the second quarter, tied at 7.
Yep.
We wanted to do somewhat of a reaction video.
Yeah.
Now, not that every week we're always paying attention to what we're doing on the camera, but if you see us get weird and just stare off into space for a minute, it's probably because we're watching what play's developing. We didn't plan this initially, but I think this is a great idea. We had some scheduling conflicts this week because of me, but Alan was so gracious to do the show at a later time than usual because the show just wouldn't be the same without my 0-4 dog poop selections of my sits last week, right?
Right. No, it'll get better for you. It'll get better. But one thing I do want to say. So if we're like doing this and we have a big play come up or something that is really interesting, like that touchdown that just happened.
Guess who it was?
Who was it?
Same as last time.
Sanders.
Gainwell.
Yeah. Oh, Gainwell was it? Okay.
Oh no, Sanders did get the last one. You're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
If we do that, if something happens like that, feel free to cut the other person off. It's not a big deal. We just want to kind of give our reactions as well. So, not a big deal.
And I do want to apologize to our viewers just this week. I got a little semi-respiratory issue going on, so I might be coughing. I may sound hoarse. I'm doing some work this week. I'm doing some work this week for a friend on a not so clean situation. So, but hey, we're getting it done, and we're here for you guys.
I don't believe it now. I don't believe that story because he doesn't have any friends. So, I don't believe that story at all. So, but
how do you do like the fake stare thing? Like I can't do it because my back hurts. But hey.
All right. Let's talk about trades.
Okay.
The trade deadline was
Big
November
trades.
1st. Yeah, some big moves in the NFL. Fantasy wise, some definite changes coming up.
I think so. We were talking about this in very extensively through the show. There's a few that we think are going to be very impactful. That may or may not affect the teams that we love, and a few that we probably won't talk about because they didn't really make much of a difference. So
yeah. So let's start right off with the one that's obvious to me and a lot of people. We had the Bears making some moves.
Oh yeah,
okay?
yeah.
So they got rid of Roquan Smith. I shouldn't say they got rid of him. They traded off Roquan Smith.
Yes.
They got a draft pick for him, or I think 2 draft picks for him. And then
was it a second and a third, or was it a?
It was a second and
a fifth.
I think a fifth. Yes.
And I think there's a conditional pick in there too. I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
But I believe there is, so that may or may not come to fruition.
So a couple things on that. Bears defense, very, very solid against the pass. Look for that to change. They not only got rid of Roquan Smith, they
Robert Quinn.
They got rid of Robert Quinn as well. That's right. And I shouldn't say get rid of. I keep saying that, but I shouldn't say that. But
yeah. Good thing Justin Fields' name isn't Justin Field because the Bears apparently don't like players who have 6 letters in their first name and 5 in their last.
That's true. Good math.
Right. I'm an idiot. I know. Sorry.
That's the geekiest thing you've ever. No,
I know.
But anyway, moving on. So great move for the Bears, and I'll talk about that a little bit in just a little bit. But in the long run, a great move for the Bears.
In the long run, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Now with that being said, so Roquan Smith goes to Baltimore.
Yes.
Baltimore's defense immediate upgrade.
Absolutely. You saw what they did. I mean, they played Tampa Bay before Roquan Smith, but you saw what they did Tampa Bay without Roquan Smith. Just imagine that line. It's going to be amazing.
It's a huge upgrade for them. That's what they needed. Something to cover the middle, cover the secondary a little bit better. It's going to be a really good show. Now, if Baltimore can get an offensive line for Jackson, you could have gold in Baltimore.
Oh gosh, yes.
So, that being said, the other trade that the Bears made. Now, at this point, they're getting draft picks for these players, right?
And they unloaded. I believe they offloaded a major portion of that guaranteed contract.
They did to a certain point. There was the way it's going to work out is Baltimore's going to be paying him the league minimum for the rest of the season. The Bears are going to pick it up the rest. So they did cut back a little bit. But that being said, Chase Claypool, what do you
The Twitter somebody just posted something on Twitter. If you guys are watching, it may be maybe interesting from Brandon Cook. So we spoke about Twitter earlier, but there was just a comment that he posted.
I
So
couldn't read and talk at the same time, so I can barely talk. So.
you can't talk and do anything at the same time.
It's true. It's true. So anyway, the other trade the Bears made. Okay, at this point they're getting all these draft picks, right?
Yeah.
Chase Claypool. How do you feel? Let me ask you first. How do you feel about the Chase Claypool ad with the Bears?
I think Chase Claypool is a great, great talent. Ben Roethlisberger turned him into a superstar.
Agreed.
Kenny Pickett is no Ben Roethlisberger, and it's sad to say because I love the guy, and we have high hopes for him. We still do. We kind of tempered those expectations. Justin Fields is no Ben Roethlisberger either.
Right.
At this point. So
That's
I really hope he can be, because Chase Claypool could be a superstar.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's kind of where I'm at too. He is dependent on who he's got thrown to him. The Bears are in a process now. Again, this was kind of an expensive trade for them, right?
Yeah.
The Bears are in the process though of actually. I talked about it a couple weeks ago. In order to rebuild, you have to tear down first, right? And I said then that they weren't done tearing down.
Yes.
They're still not done tearing down, but they're moving in the right direction.
Injury on Philly, Fletcher Cox, defensive line. So not a skill position player. Sorry to interrupt you, by the way.
No, that's fine. It's fine. But Bears are building for the future.
Yeah,
What
I
they're
agree.
doing is they're taking all their chips, putting them in the middle of the table, and saying, you know what, we're betting all these chips that our organization can evaluate talent and develop talent. That's what they're doing. Whether it's a free agent, whether it's a draft pick, whatever it is, they're building up for next year. The Bears are not going anywhere this year. They know that. Everybody else knows that. Bear fan, if you're out there watching and you think that the Bears are playing to win this year, they're playing to rebuild this year.
Absolutely.
So keep an eye out for some players you haven't seen on the field for a while, because it's going to get better, or it's going to get worse before it gets better.
And one thing I know, we don't talk about college too much on the show. If we did play fantasy college football, I'm sure we would.
Yeah.
But one thing that I brought up to Alan, and we've kind of talked about too, and he's been doing a little research on it. If the Bears get an early draft pick, there are some elite, and I mean elite, edge rushers, linebackers, secondary coming out of college this year. This year's defensive rookie class could be the best in 20, 30 years. So
Now the real question for me is, where are they going to go? Are they going to try rebuilding their defense first, or are they going to try building around Justin Fields first? That's the question that remains to be seen. So I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. But,
Me too.
But yeah, so
Misfortune has to make that decision.
Yeah, she
Virginia
does.
McCaskey.
She does.
Does she even know how to make a decision?
She's not sure. So let's talk about T.J. Hawkinson. Goes
Okay.
from Detroit to Minnesota.
Yes.
You have him on your team, so tell us what you think.
I don't have T.J. Hawkinson. I have Justin Jefferson.
I thought you had Hawkinson too.
I do not. I actually tried to trade for him a couple weeks ago, but
trade for
that
him.
didn't
Okay.
that didn't work. But I have Justin Jefferson now. At first, I was a little nervous about that because I was thinking, well, crap. When Minnesota has a good tight end, they utilize them a lot. So I was thinking maybe some of those targets are going to go away. However, T.J. Hawkinson is his head's above Irv Smith at this point.
Oh, hold on. Commercial.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
So as dynamic as Justin Jefferson is, he really hasn't had, besides Adam Thielen, who, what the heck happened to him this year, by the way? He hasn't had that, elite tight end, which I think T.J. Hawkinson is. Okay, I wasn't high on him this year, but I was wrong, guys. Okay, I'll admit it, Jono. So if you're watching this, guys in our fantasy league make fun of me all the time because they say I never own up to any of my mistakes. And I said, well, you better watch our show every week because I do it about 100 times.
Yeah, and that's just the mistakes on the show.
But I think that T.J. Hawkinson, that offense could be prolific with a couple big playmakers like that. Not to mention Dalvin Cook, one of the most dynamic players in the NFL. So I think they're going to complement each other. So I would expect just as good, if not greater things for Justin Jefferson as well as T.J. Hawkinson. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, again, it's one of those a long game that they're playing here, not necessarily a short game. I think he'll be a good addition. I just don't think he'll be effective this week.
Okay.
And I'll talk more about that later. But
Well, I do know that over the course of, and you've been right more times than not. But Alan has a philosophy, and I'm subscribed to it as well. Maybe not as much as Alan. But what happens when a guy goes to a new team? What does he have to do, Alan? Tell us.
He's got to learn the plays. He's got to mesh with the team. He's got to figure out, if he's going to zig left or if he's going to zag right, what he's going to do in certain situations. So there's a lot to learn. Now, that being said, I will say Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
I will say a few other players that have come in and just kind of fit into.
I'm going to stop you right there because a couple weeks ago we were having a conversation just privately, not on the show, about Christian McCaffrey, and we were talking, what do you think about this Christian McCaffrey trade? And we both thought, I think this year he could be done because he had to get used to it. He proved us wrong. So,
and I was thinking about that too because he's kind of a different beast, if you will. He is one of the guys that can go in there and look at the playbook and go, okay, I have to run here, I have to run there, and then he'll improvise as it goes on. So, as the play develops. So
Christian McCaffrey is a transcendent talent, and so not many guys are trade proof.
Yeah,
we saw that with Adrian Peterson, but
true.
Christian McCaffrey is, and we're wrong. You proved us right, and we're glad to see it. So,
yep, absolutely. So, any other trade?
One more I want to talk about, and we were high on this guy all year, but the only problem was he was behind the nation or the NFL's leading rusher last year, and that's Nyheim Hines. Nyheim Hines to Buffalo. There's a reason 4 to 5 teams were looking at Nyheim Hines. Weren't the Bears one of them actually too?
They could have been. I'm not sure.
Okay, I know the Rams were looking at him. But there's a reason Buffalo did what they did to get him.
Will somebody tackle Pierce, please? Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You know what? I'm so glad. I told Alan before the show, I'm so glad we're doing this show. We're not including in our start sit tonight's players. Dameon Pierce would have been on my sit, and he just ran for about 800 yards right there.
And I'm playing against him, so...
Are you really?
Yeah, I am. Crap.
Yeah, but you're playing Mark, and his team's not any good, so...
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, you'll be good.
All right. That's what I thought last week. Never mind. Yeah, let's move on. So, yeah, I gotta agree with you on that.
I'm gonna bring up. You said last week. I have to gloat. Okay.
Well,
I was going into Monday night. I had Nick Chubb and I had Harrison Bryant. Okay, because of the Njoku injury. Harrison Bryant put up 0. I was down something like 27 points. The opponent I was playing, Derek. I love you, buddy, but I'm glad it didn't happen. He had McPherson.
Elle McPherson?
She can still use those legs like she could in the 80s.
Yeah.
She's a great kicker.
She was a good kicker then, too.
Yeah, she was. But I won by 0.26 points. So that extra point that you missed, McPherson, that field goal that you missed, McPherson, I almost said piss, McPherson, all you needed to do was kick one made field goal or extra point, and I won by 0.26. So thank you.
All right, so McPherson, if you're watching,
don't get bent because I love you for your.
And I know you're watching.
Oh, he is.
Yeah.
He is.
Well, do better.
He's probably giving us the bird right now.
He probably is. Look at these morons. Yeah, probably.
Probably. So, but yeah, that's the last. Trade that I really think has impact.
All right, it's time for my favorite. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, never mind. There were a few losers. I think the Rams, the Giants really messed the bed. I mean, they have big needs and they didn't go after them.
Fair enough.
And those are one of the few teams, one of the 10, 12 teams.
Packers are another one.
Packers too. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, the Packers were bidding against the Bears for
Claypool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And from what I hear, they were going to give him not quite Devontae money, but quite a bit.
Well, I don't know about that, but they were talking about because he's in the 3rd year of his rookie contract, which is a 5-year contract. So they were actually looking at giving Pittsburgh a draft pick, a 2nd-round draft pick, the same thing the Bears gave them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the difference was, why Pittsburgh went to the Bears and not to the Packers. So there's got to be something else that's going on there, which is why I say that Claypool trade could be an expensive one. But all right, let's stop.
Let's
talking about
hope
trades.
not. No more trades.
No more trades. Let's talk about Cup Watch.
Cup
That's my
Watch.
favorite part of the
Okay,
show.
I'll do the stats, and then do you want to talk about, or do you want to get into that a little later? Your numbers that you ran.
Oh, we can talk about that during Cup Watch. Yeah. 'Cause
Okay.
it directly.
Well, let me
affects
give the stats, and then we're going to talk about what you did some research on, and this
Yeah.
kind of blew my mind.
yeah, go ahead.
So Cup Watch, we didn't do a Cup Watch last week because, of course, he had a bye. This week, they were absolutely terrible, and we said this a few weeks ago when they got blown out. Again, he still put up 12 targets, 8 receptions, 79 yards, and a touchdown. And your team, there is something seriously wrong with that Rams offense. Now, Cup, I don't think it's because Cup is just getting the targets. I think it's because, and I was a little down on him going into this year. It just shows how elite of a player he is. And that's why he's doing what he's doing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So to break those numbers down for the year, 7 games, 84 targets, 64 catches, 686 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So his numbers did kind of come down since, remember, week 1 and 2? I mean, he was up there on pace for 25, 26 touchdowns. But still, he's an elite wide receiver.
Yeah, touchdown?
I think it was.
I think they must be reviewing it because it paused
Oh, jeez.
for like the last.
No, it
10
looks like he
seconds.
dropped it.
No, he caught that.
Oh, he did? Okay.
He caught that's a touchdown. Anyway,
Who is that? Quez? No, it's not Quez. Oh, incomplete pass? What the heck? That's a catch. All right, so anyway, over the course of the year, his numbers average out to, based on 17 games, 201 targets, which is huge, 154 catches, almost 10 a game.
By the way, I don't know what's going to happen, but we're calling this a touchdown.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. Who even caught that ball? I'm sorry, I don't mean
It
to
wasn't
cut you off,
Brandon
but-
Cooks.
No,
I think it was
I'm sure.
Ty Johnson, maybe. We'll see.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
154 catches, 1,646 yards, 15 touchdowns. I mean, I think it's just under like at 14.9 or something, but 15 touchdowns. I don't care what year you're in, whether you're a running back, a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
There are quarterbacks that don't throw for 15 touchdowns in a year.
Yeah, no kidding.
So those are elite fantasy numbers.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
For
it
sure.
wasn't. It was more.
More? Okay. Oh, he lost it after he caught that ball though. That's a
I think he
touchdown.
did. I think he
That's a
did.
touchdown. All right, so one of the thing that Josh was talking about earlier.
Nope,
is-
they reversed it.
You're
Touchdown.
kidding me. Oh, they,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right, so not that it makes any that's wasted fantasy points right there.
It really is. You don't have Cooks. I mean, that you're looking at Chris Moore. Who?
Yeah, exactly right.
Philip Dorsett. I didn't even know he was in the league anymore. O.J. Howard, by the way, is. I didn't even know he was in the league either.
Perfect. All right, so what you were talking about earlier is I took I was watching the Rams Niners game, and I started thinking about this because Christian McCaffrey's getting all the carries and all the all this other stuff with the Niners, and Cup's getting all the attention over on the other side of the ball.
Oh,
with the Rams.
not just Jeff Wilson got traded away from San Fran too, so that just opens up more carries for him.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
So, so I was looking at that, and I was thinking, they both get the lion's share of their offense. So I did a little bit of, soul searching, I guess, for points in fantasy. But I was thinking, if you had both of these guys on the same team, how much of that offense would be those two guys? So I went through the numbers a little bit, and I'm not going to go through all of it with you, but I did some averaging
It's
here.
pretty staggering, though. It
is. So
pretty fantastic.
I was kind of looking at Christian McCaffrey. We'll start with him. He's had 54 targets on the season, not necessarily catches, but targets. He's had 111 rushes already on the season, okay? If we're looking at Cup, he's had 84 targets and 6 rushes, okay?
Yeah. And won a rushing touchdown, actually. So
Right. So per game, on average, to jump through the numbers, is 20.6 for McCaffrey on the season average.
is that fantasy points?
No, that's
Oh,
just
touches. Okay,
touches.
I'm sorry.
Yep. Touches, either targets or rushes.
Okay, so attempts basically.
Right.
And that number, some teams hardly run more plays than that
Exactly.
in the game.
Exactly. and Cup targets 84, so and then 6 rushes, so his average is 12 per game. So if you put those two together, you're looking at what do we say, 32 either targets or rushes between the two of them. I took the number of plays that the Niners had in that game and the number of plays that the Rams had in that game. Took the two to get put them together, averaged it out. It turned out to 52 plays in the game, okay, per team on average. That being said, those 32 plays into the 52 equals about 60% of the offense if you had both of those guys on the same team giving them the same attention that they're getting right now.
Yeah, and here's the thing you guys got to remember. The Rams got blown out, so they should have probably had about 10, 15 fewer plays if that was a competitive game.
Right.
That number would be closer to 70, 75%. So that just shows you how much of an asset these guys are.
And think about that, because if you have both of those guys on your team, you basically have two playbooks: one for McCaffrey, one for Kupp, and then you just kind of pick out of each one of them. And then throw in an extra run or something. Or
kind of like when we do our start and sets, we just pick, this guy, throw it up there.
Right. Throw it up there. Whichever one lands face up is the one we pick.
That's right.
All right. So anyway, I thought that was kind of an interesting thought as I was watching the game and seeing how much these guys get as far as the production out of the offense. So let's move on to our starts and sits.
Okay.
I've got something really good. Actually, you've got something really good to tell us about my picks, and then we've got your picks also.
Well, I did mention it when I was talking about what an asset to the show I am. I got blown out 0-4, okay?
Yeah, you are an ass to the show.
Yes, I'm an ass at. And guys, I like to go off the cuff a little bit, but man, I really pooped the bed with these guys. I picked Brady. Who did I pick? You know what? I'm still traumatized by it, okay?
You can say shit on the show.
Raheem Mostert, or actually, no, wait a minute. Brady, Dalvin Cook. What kind of idiot doesn't start Dalvin Cook? This guy doesn't. Stephon Diggs, seriously? And TJ Hawkinson. So I usually total up the points right here.
There's zero.
No.
Go ahead.
So Allen went 3-1, by the way, for his starts. Hurts, Chuba didn't play. We didn't know he was injured. I didn't know. But obviously, Deontay Foreman is the go-to guy. So I put up Allen's points, and he was somewhere in the 50s for those three guys. He went 3-1. I didn't even total mine up. I just wrote 1 million with a big old middle finger because they put up a ton of points. The guys that I sat last week.
You actually drew a middle finger, too.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like my hand. Anyway, go ahead.
It's a short little step. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, stop now.
Okay, so I'm going to do starts this week, so we'll see how this works out. Oh, by the way, going into last week, we were both 13-11, so just under 60%. You're 3-1, puts you at 16-12.
Okay.
All right, good job, buddy.
Thank
You are closer to 70% right now.
This is a team effort, though. So where are we at as a team? Do you know right offhand?
Well, I'm 13-15, so we're 19-17, so we're about 54%.
All right, that's all right. That's all right.
Absolutely.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Right.
So I'm going to do starts this week. Trevor Lawrence, I really, really like this week. ETN blew up last week, and we were talking about this game before the show. We don't like necessarily to do anything or have any players on the London games because, you got jet lag. ETN still put up 28 points.
Yeah.
That offense is really running around him. And Trevor Lawrence, his numbers have steadily gone up the last couple weeks. That Las Vegas defense that we thought was going to be a major shootout, we'll get into that in a couple minutes. They gave up points to Andy Dalton, of all people. They got shut out 24-0. That Raiders defense is not good.
Andy Dalton, the Red Rocket.
We called him the Red Rocket last year because we forgot the Red Rifle. Don't Google Red. You can Google Red Rocket, but we're not going to tell you what it is.
Yeah, we're not responsible for the content. Just saying. Hey, your kicker's coming up. Elliott.
Oh yeah, baby.
All right.
I need Elliott to get me a good field goal here before we go to half because he hasn't been doing well lately. 3 seconds.
Well, I hope you can kick a field goal in 3 seconds.
Well, it depends on where they are on the field, man.
All right.
So we'll update you on that in just a sec. I love Jamal Williams this week. DeAndre Swift might not even play again this week. There's news that he probably won't. Now, we've said that many times before. We're not Adam Schefter, so he
Yeah.
probably will play.
By the way, Adam Schefter, when it comes to injuries and updates, gold.
Gold.
All right, go ahead.
I love gold. We got to get a meme for that.
We do. Anytime
Gold
we show
member, yes. And not get sued for showing it, so.
Right. Please don't sue us.
Jamal Williams, I really love him against Green Bay. We know the same. Green Bay's got the same issues that a lot of defenses have right now. They're not stopping anybody. And Jamal Williams, he's a dynamic playmaker, okay?
Yes.
He can catch passes out of the backfield. He can break through pretty much any line. We were watching a game a couple weeks ago when they were on, and he just missed the field goal. Come on, Elliott! Okay, but anyway, some of the moves that he put on were almost Barry Sanders-esque, and it was... I think he's a special player. So I do like him against Green Bay. So if you guys have Jamal Williams, you should probably sit him or drop him based on my advice. What do you think?
I'm with you. Yeah, I see no future for Jamal Williams in fantasy.
Not. No, I love Jamal.
No, I'm just playing. No, it is a good week to sit him though. To be honest.
No, start him.
I'm sorry. It is
You
a
already
good week.
jinxed me,
See,
dude.
I've got my. I told you this is a team effort. Why would I jinx?
Yes. Oh, by the way, my would have been sit pick if we did the show on time. Pierce has 90 yards at halftime rushing alone. So,
Ouch.
this next one, I've put him up a couple times. I've sat him a couple times, and I've started him a couple times. Michael Pittman Jr., what is going on in Indy right now?
Ouch.
Jonathan Taylor isn't the only one that's really underperformed, and
that whole offense is struggling.
they're in shambles. They are playing New England. Good news. New England's defense is very good. I'm basing this on pure volume alone. New England is about anywhere from a 5.5 to 6.5 to 7 point favorite right now. It's moved a little bit. Volume alone, they're going to have to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And now without Nyheim Hines as a safety valve, to catch those checkdowns, Pittman, the volume is going to be there, I think. And I sure hope so, because we both love Michael Pittman.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I really hope Pittman does well. But yeah, that Indy offense is just, like you said, a shambles.
I don't know what's going on.
It's terrible. They've got a lot of pieces to the puzzle that need to be fixed. And speaking as a Bear fan, I know how that goes.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, no, I think it's a good call.
Okay. And then my last guy, Will Dissly, for Seattle. They're playing Arizona. And I would normally not start Will Dissly, but with the Njoku injury on my team, I was really scraping the bottom of the barrel there. And the reason I'm starting him for the sole reason is because he's all I could get on the waiver wire. So I'm hoping he has a good team against my Cards. I hope the Cards still win. But I'm thinking, 27 catches, 346 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns? That's not asking much.
Yeah. So Will Dissly, please, please, please have a good game. I also have Geno Smith too, so that could be they could put up about 12 points together. That's dynamic.
Said Will Dissly, if you're watching,
I hope you're watching.
and I know you're watching.
I'm watching you this week, so
Right, we're watching.
Yes.
All right. So not bad. I like that pick too.
Will Dissly?
Yeah, I think that's
And I don't have any stats I'm gonna throw out on that. That's again, it's for the sole reason that he's on my team and I need him.
Yeah, Dissly, he's a hit and miss, but when he does hit, he hits good. So,
which is less often than not.
I understand, but nonetheless, I'm with you on that. That's a good pick. It's an off the radar kind of pick. I like it. All right, let's jump into my sits.
Okay, so Alan's got sits.
I got the sits.
He's got the sits, and
Yeah.
yes, it's probably Taco Bell or Taco John's came out with a new grande taco. I went there the other day. It's like this big for $3. That's awesome.
Does it give you the sits?
Oh, I'd give probably multiple times.
The
So
sits, okay. All right. That's a nice run. Who's that?
that was a replay because we're at halftime.
Oh,
remember?
okay, that's right.
Uh,
All right, so my sit for quarterback is Zach Wilson this week. He's playing Buffalo. We know this is a tough defense. Buffalo has given up 7 touchdowns to quarterbacks over 7 games. So 1 touchdown per game isn't a whole lot fantasy-wise.
and weren't
right?
2 of them or 2 or 3 were Lamar Jackson. So
Yeah, exactly. They average 203.1, I guess, yards per game.
Hey, that's a difference maker. Don't forget that point
That
one
point
yard.
one, it is big. It is big. Jets doing well this year. I just don't see them overcoming the odds on this one. It looks like Buffalo's got a complete team, and I think you're actually going to see Wilson get shut down this week.
I do too. And I like Wilson over his career. I've been a big fan of him ever since he came into the league. Mostly because he's every mom's favorite quarterback, but and you know why.
Yeah.
But Buffalo's on a different level than most teams or all teams, and I'm including Kansas City in the AFC right now.
Yep.
Especially with that piece they added with Nyheim Hines, I don't see anybody stopping them.
So, interesting thing. You mentioned Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
My running backs is all Kansas City running backs. That's how I'm saying.
Nice.
Bench them.
Yes.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, if you guys wasted a draft pick on him, better you than me. I did not. Neither did you.
No, neither one of us liked him going in.
Yeah, so it's another one for us. But he is playing Tennessee.
We have to tell you guys it's a win for us because we don't get to do that often.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, one of us does, but the other one doesn't. I'm not going to mention, names.
Well, I'm in second place. What place are you in, Alan?
Yeah, we're talking about picks over here. Start and sits.
We're talking about start and
And
sit.
just for the record, I have climbed 3 spots in the last 2 weeks.
I'm proud of you. Remember, I was 12th 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was
So
below you.
1 week
the
you
following week.
Yeah, because I beat you, remember? So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. But I'm climbing.
I love that KC running backs pick. Tennessee is a team that they have an elite defense when it shows up. But they're Swiss cheese other times. The last couple games they have really shut down. I think they're the fewest points allowed over the last 2 games.
Well, they've got the fewest points allowed, or I shouldn't say fewest fantasy points allowed to running backs over the season.
Yeah.
So
Well, they shut
very,
down
very
Pierce
tough
last
matchup.
week. I mean, absolutely shut him down.
I mean, you like we talked about, you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, been kind of a bust this year, right? Isaiah
Pacheco, I love Isaiah Pacheco, but not this year. Maybe a couple years.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, he barely outtouched. Well, I shouldn't say barely. He outtouched Clyde Edwards. However, that is always going to be, at least in the foreseeable future, a pass-heavy offense.
Oh, absolutely.
You got somebody like.
Oh,
Mahomes,
even
for
without Tyreek Hill, because Alan loves to hear that.
Yeah, I love it when they say you're watching the Chiefs game and they say they don't have Tyreek Hill. Well, no shit. We're in week 9 now. We've realized that. Thank you for.
Yeah,
telling
so
us that.
the notion we're in week 9 is what he just said, just in case you didn't hear it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Moving on, my wide receiver sit this week is going to be Gabe Davis. Against New York Jets defense, I'm just saying sit him.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's more than a feeling.
Buffalo's a double-digit favorite in this game, and I think they're going to win this game easily. That being said, I think they're going to try to experiment a little more with Nyheim Hines in that offense.
You're right.
I think he's going to be a lot more involved, at least this week, if not the next couple weeks. So the volume may not be there for Gabriel Davis as much.
Between that and Stephon Diggs, yeah, I think you're not going to see a lot out of him this week. Moving forward, I like that trio.
I do too.
Davis
I do too.
And Diggs and
I
Hines.
was extremely high on Gabe Davis. In fact, I told our league he could be the 1A to Stephon Diggs, and I believed that the first 3-4 weeks.
Yep.
Not so much now. He's a talented back, but receiver. But I'm still high on him, but not as high as I was. But I really want to see him thrive.
Yeah.
That offense is it's almost unstoppable, you know.
Now, you remember last year you were laughing because I kept joking about Nyheim Hines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, no, you.
It's a,
no. Hang on.
It is not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Let's put this into context, guys. The reason he was talking about Nyheim Hines, because we placed a gentleman's bet, no money involved, just bragging rights. He said that Nyheim Hines would outscore Jonathan Taylor, and I said, "Are you out of your mind?"
You want to talk about terrible bets last year? No,
Yes.
Let's.
Oh,
not,
I made more than.
Let's not. Let's keep
But no,
moving.
I do love Nyheim Hines. I think now that he's not in the shadow of JT, I want to see what he can do. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he can do. I don't know necessarily if he's going to be a number 1 running back, cowbell type of running back, but
I think he
Who
could
knows?
be. I think he has the talent
Who
to be.
knows? We haven't seen the opportunity for that to happen yet, so we'll find out.
Okay. And then who do you got for tight end?
T.J. Hawkinson.
Okay.
The reason I have him this week is not because I don't like him with Minnesota. Long term, I like him better. This week, he came in too late in the week. You might see him. I shouldn't say you might. You will see him in the game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I just don't think he'll have a huge impact as a tight end, and it's hard too because tight ends are there's very few really good ones, and then
And I think that game's on the road too in Minnesota, just to show you how much faith people have in Washington. I think that's like a 6-7 point favorite. I could be wrong. It could be in Minnesota. I don't think it is, though. I think it's in Washington. So yeah, they may not need to utilize him. I think it's the opposite of Nyheim Hines.
Yep. Okay, that's my picks for this week.
All right.
We will check it out next week and see what's.
Have any of us gone 4-0 yet? You know what? I've been looking back. I don't think
Did I go 4-0 this last week?
you went 3-1. So don't toot your own horn.
Should have been a 4-0. But anyway,
Let's see. Yeah. So I don't think anybody went 4-0 yet. So you know what? I apologize. Alan went 4-0 in week whatever. So
in that other week.
yes. Oh wait a minute. We both went 4-0 in. Oh yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Like I said,
There were two separate weeks, but we both went 4-0 once. So
it's a team effort.
probably won't ever happen again. But let's see.
All
All right.
Let's talk about what's got us bent, or better known as
What's Gub?
what's good.
All right. You want me to go or you?
Yeah, you go ahead and go first because mine's going to take a little bit of
Okay.
explanation.
Okay. So the Brooklyn Nets. Okay. I know they're in the NBA. They're not in the NFL. They just fired Steve Nash. They parted ways with him after a not so impressive start. We talked about this guy probably 3 to 4, maybe a little longer than that. Remember Ime Udoka, the old coach from the Boston Celtics, who used his position of power to entice his underlings to carry on romantic relationships with them. In fact, once the news broke, Boston Celtics dropped him like a bad habit. And now the news is that Brooklyn Nets are most likely going to hire Ime Udoka. Now, you know what? I don't care how much of a talent of a coach you are. He's like the Urban Meyer of the NBA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's got to be a line he could cross. And not to mention his fiance, Nia Long, the actress. She is absolutely gorgeous. And Nia, if you are watching...
She's not watching.
Okay, I'm going to say it again. Nia, if you are watching...
She's probably watching.
Call me, okay? All right, that's got me gub. So, I hope to God they don't hire him. There's got to be a new precedent set,
Yeah, no, and stuff like this, it's so, I don't want to say frequent, but it happens a lot. And
I think it is frequent. And what is too much? You know what I mean? When is enough enough?
it's been enough for a while.
Yeah.
My gub this week is actually something different.
Okay.
I'm gonna do something we've never done on the show before. What's got me unbent.
Oh, I like
So,
it. I like it a lot.
You like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
All right.
It's from Dumb and Dumber. Remember?
Yeah.
Dumb and Dumber. Or wait a minute, no, Dumb and Dumber. My bad. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I think you are.
All right, just keep going, Alan.
All
Come
right.
on.
Anyway, so what's got me unbent this week is, and I touched on it earlier, is the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
And I made a resolution a little while ago, or a few weeks ago, that I would not do any more Bears, or I would not do any more Bears-related things when it comes to Gub or bent predictions, right? So I'm breaking my rule.
Okay.
But the reason I say that is because, like I said before, the Bears are playing the long game. And I think they're doing it in a really, really smart way. And I think it's a no-nonsense way. They're actually building for the future while they're tearing down the past.
Yeah.
The old regime left them with almost nothing when it comes to draft picks and wasted quite a few of them. Fortunately, that's not the case. They got some of those draft picks back. They even got a little bit of talent in.
Second half just kicked off, by the way.
Yes, it did. and it'll be interesting to see what they do with in the long game.
I'm looking forward to it, and it's not often that you can hear. Alan told me something earlier, and it's not often that you hear a diehard sports fan from their hometown team say, "You know what he told me? He said I'm not worried about this next year. This year, you know what? They could lose the rest of their games. It doesn't matter. We're in it for the long game." So, that's awesome. You know.
Yep. I'm trying to be optimistic about this. There's been so many changes in the Bears organization in my lifetime. There's been so many different things that have happened, so many disappointments. I'm trying to be optimistic still. So, Justin Fields, if you're watching,
He's not, Alan.
and I know you're watching,
He's playing Call of Duty. Oh wait, that's Kyler Murray. Never mind. I'm so bent about that every week.
I'm still in your corner. I am too, but I'm still in your corner, Justin. So
we both are, Justin.
yeah. So hang in there. It'll get worse before it gets better, but it will get better. So
Yes.
hang in there. All
Okay.
right, that's what got me unbent this week.
All right, I love it. So
You know what? My second favorite part of the show is coming up right now. It's time to.
Womp!
Wait.
It's over here, dude. Remember?
Okay, we're good.
You don't remember? I just put it there before the show.
Yeah, I know.
Although that was 45 minutes ago, so I mean,
Holy cow!
I
All right,
can't
so
tell.
it's time to womp.
Send a womp. So you go first.
I go first.
Oh, by the way, Miss Fortune was able to grace us with her presence last week. She couldn't make it on the show this week. She's actually getting consultations for facial reconstruction surgery.
Yeah, and we're looking very, very, very forward to that.
Yes.
Virginia McCaskey.
All right, what do we got?
I don't know. I can't see. Miami versus Chicago.
Oh my gosh.
Of course. All right, Miami versus Chicago. So Miami is favored by, I think that's 4.5.
It's 4.5.
All right, 4.5
In Chicago, by the way.
in Chicago. Yep. And the over under is 45.5. So I'm gonna go with Miami on that one, and I'm gonna go with the under on that one.
Okay, so Miami minus 4.5. Under, what is it, 45.5?
45.5. Yep.
I wrote minus 45, so I'll have to put the period in there. So,
Your words, not mine.
oh my God! All right, my turn to womp it.
Womp it. It's not the same game. I know that. All right, let's see what you got.
All right, so, okay, this one I think is an easy one. We talked about this. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. I wrote Buffalo versus New York Jets. Buffalo minus 11.5 and minus 11.5. So, do you want to get on your phone, or I'll get on my phone here and look up the over under. I'll take the over 11.5, guys. Okay. All right. So,
If it weren't for mistakes, we'd have no stakes at all.
I know, right? They could be Mr. Stakes too, though. You never know.
No.
All right, I'm going to take the Buffalo minus 11 while I find the. There's an 11. Yeah, 11.5.
Is that the minus 11 on the over under?
And that's in New York. We just talked about this. They're on the road. 11.5 point favorites. 46. I think that's way too low for a Buffalo team that's scoring the way they are. So I want the over
I
46.
see Justin Fields on there. What's going on?
Last 5 QBs sacked by this guy here. So.
Oh, that one dude.
All right, let's move on.
Awesome. All right, time to womp. Womp. Hey, we got a good one. We gotta go this way. All right. Let's see which one we got. Right next to.
All right, I think he's cheating. You gotta show it to the.
I'm showing it. I'm showing it. Indy versus New England. New England 5.5, negative 5.5, and 40.5 in the over under. Ouch. Oh, that's a hell of a number for that over under. I'm gonna
40.5, you said?
40.5.
Okay.
I'm gonna take. Gosh, New England sucks, and so does Indy. I'm going to take New England and take the 5.5 on the chin.
Minus, you're giving 5.5 on New England?
Yeah.
Okay.
God, I'm going to take a shot and say over on the
40.5.
Oh yeah, on the
Okay.
40.5.
I think that's a low number. This is the first week you've
It
gone
is.
you've gone 2 overs. So, but yeah, besides the Bears game, New England is shutting people down. You know.
Yep.
And Indianapolis isn't looking any good anyway lately. So, or much better. I'm trying to watch the game and talk at the same time. Sorry, guys. All right, so mine. Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
There you go. Seattle
Oh, God.
versus Arizona.
Seattle at Arizona. Cardinals -2, 49.5.
That's a tough one too.
I don't really like to do this. I'm going to take the homer pick, Arizona -2. I don't like that it's only 2, though, because that just shows how much faith that the experts have in that Arizona offense at home, nonetheless, with a quarterback other than Russell Wilson under center in Seattle. What was that over again?
The over-under on that was 49.5.
I'm going to take the over. I mean, we've seen both teams really put up huge numbers. Remember that Detroit game where Seattle beat them 48-45?
Yeah. It's hard not to take that over, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so this is, oh my God, this is the first week that we've taken all 4 overs.
Wow. We're
So-
expecting a lot of fantasy points this week, aren't
Wait a
we?
minute, and we took the favorites. Took the favorites and the overs.
Oh.
I don't think we've ever done that before.
We've never do that.
We'll never do that again.
All right.
I don't
Better-
cheat.
I'm
Well, it
glad-
doesn't matter. You can't pick them this week,
What?
dummy. I'm
No,
going to
no, no,
change
no,
it
no.
next week.
No, I was just saying, I'm glad I didn't get Green Bay and Detroit.
Oh, God.
That would
Green
suck.
Bay, Green Bay, Detroit
Worst
probably
game
would
of
have been the worst.
game of the week.
Yeah.
All right, we done wamping?
We're done womping.
All right. So, guys, once again, I want to remind you guys to like, subscribe, and share our videos. Please, please, please get the word out there. We do this for fun, but we love to share our fun with everybody else. So please do that.
Yes, and Neil Long, like I said, hit me up. I'm available, and you'll never come take a back seat to anybody.
You could have stopped after. you guys get it. All right.
Just
So
waiting for the hate mail to come in. Hey, at least we'd get mail though.
yes, mail. I'm all for it.
All right. Do you got
All right.
anything else?
No, I'm gonna sit back. We're gonna kick back and enjoy the rest of the game, and you guys do the same thing. By the time you're seeing this game will be over, and hopefully you got some fantasy points on the board. But if you don't, or if you're playing me, just get bent.
On fantasy football.